It's officially transfer portal season in college football. Which Red Raiders are expected or will hit the transfer portal, and who is Texas Tech targeting early on in the process? We'll discuss that and more in today's video. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And if you want more transfer portal updates for Texas Tech football throughout this crazy process that is the transfer portal cycle, just simply give us a like to let us know that, hey, we want to see more videos like this on the channel, RC. It's a simple way for, well, us to go look at the metrics and see, hey, they like this content. Let's put more of it out, and we can do just that. So simply like the video if you want more transfer portal updates and recruiting updates for Texas Tech football all year long. All right, before we jump into the portal update and everything like that for Texas Tech, I asked this on Twitter yesterday. I want to hear from you guys down in the pinned comment below. Which positions do you think Texas Tech football should target most in the portal? I.e., what should be their focus, right? We talking offensive linemen, DBs, linebackers, wide receivers? Let me know down below, and why don't you put them in order too, like one offensive lineman or whatever position you want to say. Let me know down in the pinned comment below. All right, now before we get into the transfer portal aspect of it, let's lay the foundation here. Technically, the portal doesn't open until December 4th. That's a Monday here after this weekend, right? So just letting you know, but there is a lot of guys that are already garnering interest because, well, y'all know how the NCAA works on that front. All right, but let's jump into it in terms of guys for Texas Tech that are expected or already in, quote unquote, the transfer portal. We know Tyler Shough is on there. He's gaining interest. There was a tweet yesterday that said he was going to UCF. That is not confirmed by any stretch of the imagination, but UCF is interested in Tyler Shough. You also have Landon Peterson. He's garnering interest from a ton of schools. I've seen South Florida and others in terms of schools that have already offered him. Matt Keeler, a former walk-on that started 2 games in 2022 for the Red Raiders at right guard. He also entered the portal yesterday. But the big name that probably surprised some people in all of this was Myles Price, who was expected to enter the portal according to Matt Zenitz of 24/7 Sports. Now, Myles Price was 3rd on the Red Raiders roster this year in receiving yards with 410. He battled through injuries, as we all know, right? Specifically those shoulder injuries. But when he was on the field, he was productive for the most part, right? He's a solid wide receiver. But to me personally, this doesn't come as a huge surprise. It really doesn't. Just from the sheer fact of, think about some of the guys that are coming in to Texas Tech in terms of guys that have redshirted, and now you got Micah Hudson coming in who presumably will probably take that Myles Price role, right? You've got guys on the roster already that are super young, super talented guys that redshirted this year that will probably have a chance to compete for some starter-type snaps on the Texas Tech offense next year. The guys that you probably need to look out for, TJ West, DJ Crest, and then you've got Colby Vaslin as well. So those are some guys that I'm kind of interested to see. Now, am I saying that, oh, they're for sure starters day one? No, but I think they're going to be in the rotation for Texas Tech. And you're going to go out there too, if you're the Red Raiders, and probably add at least 1, if not 2 wide receivers in the portal. Now, you'll have a guy like Dre McCray come back as well in that wide receiver room, but you're going to be a lot younger probably if you're Texas Tech at the wide receiver room. And so this really wasn't much of a surprise to me that Myles Price entered, but I do understand it from the Red Raider Nation standpoint of, oh, Myles Price is one of the most liked guys on the team, and wholeheartedly so, right? Like, he's one of those guys. He's super genuine, and he's a solid player, and he will be missed in that wide receiver room. Just hopefully he lands on his feet and gets a really solid spot. Hopefully takes a step up potentially and gets some starter minutes elsewhere. All right, let's talk about some guys that Texas Tech has offered in the portal or has shown interest in early on. And again, this list is going to grow daily, okay, people? This is just early on. I'm recording this on November 28th, the night of November 28th, putting it out on November 29th. This list will grow daily and probably by the minute, it almost feels like, with how fast the transfer portal goes. But let's talk about some of the names that have been reported in terms of guys putting on social media, hey, I got an offer from Texas Tech, or one of the sites out there, 24/7, Rivals, the Portal Report, whatever it may be, in terms of Texas Tech is showing interest in them. Let's start with UTEP offensive lineman Justin Mayers. He stands at 6'3", 310 pounds. He will have 1 year of eligibility left. He started all 12 games at left guard for UTEP in 2022 and was a prominent staple on their line this season as well for the Miners. In 2022, he was an All-Conference USA honorable mention. And right now, he kind of looks like a possible Cole Spencer replacement for the Red Raiders at left guard. I hear what you're saying, though. Another All-Conference USA guy coming into the interior of the offensive line? No thanks. I think this guy could be a little bit different, and I don't want to be stale on Cole Spencer or throw him under the bus or anything. Dude just couldn't stay healthy. It happens, man. It really does. It's unfortunate, but it's part of football, right? So I don't really want to put anybody in that category or throw shade at Cole Spencer in that regard. Next up is North Dakota State offensive lineman Easton. No, that is not Kitley. It's Kilty. Okay, he is 6'5", 305 pounds with 1 year of eligibility left. He started all 12 games at right guard at North Dakota in 2022 and 2023. He was an All-Missouri Valley Conference honorable mention this season. And he's a guy that could just add potential size in the interior, right? We're talking about a 6'5", 305-pound offensive lineman, specifically right guard, right? His tape, he's dominating at North Dakota State. He's one of those guys. But he's very interesting in terms of, I'm always interested to see how big teams are willing to go at the guard position specifically, right? I always think about offensive tackles as the bigger guys, you know, like the 6'7", 6'6" of the world. But an interior guy at 6'5", that's interesting, and Texas Tech has offered him already so far. The guy that really interests me the most is this next guy from Shorter, a D2 college out of Rome, Georgia. Right? His name is Allan Heron, and he has an official visit planned to Texas Tech this weekend, right? So we're talking about when the calendar flips to December, he'll be on campus out in West Texas. He's a native of Westmoreland, Jamaica. He stands at 6'6", 310 pounds and has 3 years of eligibility left. He redshirted in 2022, his first year at Shorter, and then he played all 11 games this year for Shorter in 2023. He has an offer list that includes some big-time schools on there, including Texas Tech. Clemson is also offered, UCF, and a few others. He's a guy that feels like maybe he isn't an impact guy right away because of that jump from D2 to D1 and probably high major football at that. But he's a guy that interests me a little bit. But it's going to be a pretty big battle for him as some big-time Power 5 programs are already interested in him. The last guy that Texas Tech has shown interest on that we're going to talk about in today's video is New Mexico offensive lineman DJ Wingfield. He stands at 6'4", just under 300 pounds at 290, has 1 or 2 years of eligibility left. Reason I say this is this. He redshirted in 2022 after he tore his ACL, but he returned to the Lobos this year. Maybe he gets that medical. It's up in the air. He was the one on his graphic that he posted on social media that said 1 or 2 years left. So obviously they're battling for that in terms of the extra year. Some schools that have already offered Wingfield include Purdue, North Texas, Arkansas State. Now, Texas Tech has not offered him yet, technically, but they have talked to him. So maybe something to watch on that front when it comes down to it for Texas Tech. Now, one thing before we get out of here, you can tell what the priority for Texas Tech is so far in the portal. It's offensive linemen, right? And I think there's going to be some guys, you know, Nick Fatigue and everything like that. And then you've got, obviously, Ellis Davis coming in, who I think could potentially be a day one impact guy for the Red Raiders on the offensive line. Those are two young guys I'm interested to see. Obviously, Nick was in this past class in 2023. Ellis Davis showing up early in the 2024 class alongside Micah Hudson, Will Hammond, and guys like that, right? So it's going to be interesting to see where they go, but you can tell the focus right now for Texas Tech in the portal is the offensive line. And I suspect they're going to go out there and obviously target some guys on defense, wide receiver, whatever it may be. But I want to hear from you guys first. Who should Texas Tech, in what position should Texas Tech prioritize the most in the portal? Let me know down in the pinned comment below. Order it for me. Offensive line, wide receiver, whatever you think is the priority for the Red Raiders in the portal, let me know down below. And if you want to see more of these Texas Tech transfer portal target videos and updates, hey, just let me know by simply liking the video. That's all we ask. I'm RC Maxfield, reminding you one more time, if you want to join the most engaging Texas Tech community and the fastest growing Texas Tech community here on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, stay in the know right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.